Hello, hello. Are you guys ready? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So let me do my tech here. Make sure I'm live. Awesome. Get this started.
I'm so excited.
Hi, Sheena. I'm going to comment. That way I will see all of your comments. Perfect. Love it, love it. All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, are you guys ready to dive into authenticity activated? So if you are watching the replay, comment #replay when you join us, dive in, say hello. Today is day number 1 of a free 5-day training that I will be doing right here in this group at 1:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Authenticity Activated was created to help you because this is the same help that I needed 4 years ago when I was in a very dark, depressing place. Hey, Kim, so glad you're here. 4 years ago, I was not myself. I had built a thriving $250,000 chiropractic practice, but I was miserable and I wanted to run away from my life and my responsibilities. And at 31 years old, I did not know what it meant to be authentic. I had no idea. I had no clue what that would even feel like, what that would look like. I felt like a fraud. I needed this advice that I'm about to share with you over the next 5 days. I needed someone to come into my life and say, hey, you're doing great. Don't stop. You're on the right track, and there's so much more for you. But at the time, I just wanted to run away. Hey, Miss Michelle, glad you're here. Cami, you're here. So awesome. I wanted to run away. And I didn't, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because what I have learned over the last 4 years as I climbed my way out of that dark place, and I knew that there was so much more for me. I didn't even realize it at the time. I just wanted to build a life that I loved, and I had an idea of what that would look like. But what I've realized over the last 4 years is I've built the life that I love. Literally 2 days ago, I drove in, pulled into my parking lot or in my driveway, and I was so fulfilled on a cellular level. I was fulfilled on every fiber of my being. And I look back and I'm like, wow, not a whole lot has changed. The only thing that's changed really is me, right? My husband didn't change. My job didn't change. My finances haven't changed that much, but I have changed. How I handle the world, how I handle what comes my way, my mindset, how I believe, how I think, how I look at myself, and how I interact with others. And because of the inner work that I have done, I've built an authentic and thriving life. I've built my life my way. And I look back and I'm like, wow, like, not very much has changed, but everything is different. Does that make sense? Like, not a lot has changed on the outside, but everything inside has changed, which has ultimately reflected my outer world as well. So I'm going to lead you through the same things that I have done to build an authentic and thriving life that I love, that makes me fulfilled on a really, really deep level. I want to share my same secrets with you over the next 5 days and help you live your life a little bit more, right? And so this authentic and thriving journey, I've talked about it before, it's on a continuum, right? We're on a continuum, just like health. Health is on a continuum. Happiness is on a continuum. Some days we might feel really, really low and dark and depressed and in the trenches. And on the other days we might be like vibing high and life is good and everything's great. And we're just like have this amazing smile on our face. And a long time ago, right, those valleys were very deep and they lasted a very long time. And now I can show you how No matter, like, life is always going to happen and there's always going to be a roller coaster, but you can still feel and be authentic and thriving even when life happens and even when you don't feel good. So what I have done in the group is I promised that I would make a worksheet for you each and every single day of these 5 days, and that worksheet is available to you. I just posted it in the group, so if you need to go and screenshot and print it, I'll also add the PDF as well. I think I forgot to do that, so I will make sure I add the PDF as well. But if you just have a journal in front of you, I will talk about these questions. I'll talk them out loud, and you can journal them and jot them down. All right, so we're going to dive in deep. Today is about the introduction and what this program will look like, what you can expect over the next 5 days, and then I want you to really spend the next 24 hours getting really clear on why are you here? Why are you showing up? Why is this important? Why is this program important to you? Why do you want deeper levels of authenticity? What would that look like for you? So first of all, I want to start off with the definition of authenticity, and you can write this down if you'd like. The definition of authenticity, and I have to give you 2 definitions because authenticity says it's the quality of being authentic. It's a genuineness. So let me ask you, before I go on, even before I define what authentic means, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you had to look at the different areas of your life, and you can compartmentalize those different areas on your own, maybe your business, your personal life, your relationships, your health, your finances, your spirituality, there's a lot of different levels, but some of those might be at the top of your mind at the moment. Some of them might be an area of life that you find the most frustration with. And I want to just ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, before we continue diving in here, scale of 1 to 10, how authentic, how genuine do you feel like that particular area of your life is? And you can journal, and maybe you'll put a 10 by your personal life. Maybe you'll put a 7 by your business, right? What are the different topics? Like, if this could help you in one area of your life, if this program could help you in one area of your life, what would that area be? And on a scale of 1 to 10, can you qualify that? Can you score yourself on how authentic you feel like you are, how genuine you feel like you are being? So 4 years ago, right, I thought the only area of my life that really mattered was my business. I thought my business, like, if I could just get my business squared away, that it would make all the other areas of my life better, right? Boy, did I have that wrong, but who can relate to that? We think that our business is a way that we can make money, and then we can go buy nicer things, and we can do better things with our spouse and all of those things. I thought my business was my path to being fulfilled. And boy, did I have that wrong. So at the time, 4 years ago, I would say my level of authenticity was a 1 in my business. And I thought that even my business was separate than everything else. But what I've come to understand, and what I really want to teach you, and this is interesting because I just asked you, pick one area of your life, or maybe a couple, and score yourself. But we are only as strong as our weakest link. So if my business was a 1, my area of life, and I was scoring my business, my level of authenticity was a 1, I'm only as strong as my weakest link. And so my business being a 1 means me as a whole was only a 1. I was really operating on a very low vibration. It was very low, and that could make sense of why I was depressed and unfulfilled. And that actually trickled into every other area of my life. As much as you think you can compartmentalize your different areas of life, you cannot. Everything that you go through, every different area of your life, is a reflection of you at the core. So maybe for you, it might be your health, or your finances, or your relationships, or your personal development. We are only as strong as our weakest link. So why do I say that? Because my next question, we just defined authenticity. Now I want to define authentic. Authentic means not false or copied. So when we think of ourselves and our true nature, our true selves, our higher selves, right? So let's take health, for example. Health is something that we like to, it's easy for all of us, right? To picture ourselves and our health account. And so we think of this picture, like I think of myself wearing a bathing suit and being my ideal weight. And although I'm not there now, I'm taking steps closer and closer to getting there. But at the moment, I'm off. I am not my authentic self when it comes to my health because I'm not where I imagine myself being. Where I am is false compared to where I want to see myself. So there's a level of authenticity that's off there. And this is just, I say this as an example for you. So when we go back to the definition of authentic, it means real, having an origin supported by unquestionable evidence. And when you talk about unquestionable evidence, right, to me, that reminds me of being convicted, to being completely grounded in who you are. Like I have goosebumps right now just saying that because I am standing here with you today, completely grounded in my truth, completely grounded in showing up for you, completely convicted of the message I'm going to share with you. Had you asked me 4 years ago to do this, I wouldn't have been authentic. I would have been a fraud. If there is a part of your life that is not convicted, right? It's like so ingrained in you, like that is my truth and I'm sticking to it. That is my story and I'm sticking to it. That is authentic. And so today we're going to talk about the different elements. I really wanted to make authenticity activated, a really simple process for you. And that's why at the bottom of your worksheet here, we're going to talk about the 3 ABCs of authenticity. And so you're going to get a chance to do some deep diving reflections to ask yourself, how real am I being? How convicted am I being? And when you have that conviction, that's when people start to follow you. That's when people want to anchor to you because you can't, what is the saying? You can't anchor to an unanchored mind. So if you're inauthentic about a certain area of your life, and a lot of people are here, especially in social media. I've attracted a lot of people who want to grow their business, whether it's your own business, a passion project, a multi-level marketing, and you want to rank advance. A lot of these people come into my sphere, come into my circle, right? And if your goal is to grow your business, you need to be anchored so you can grow your customer base. Customers aren't going to come in and be attracted to an unanchored mind if you don't have that conviction. And I believe authenticity is the path to develop that conviction, right? To understand who you are authentically will grow your conviction, will grow your courage, will grow who you are as a person. And by doing so, you will start to attract those transactions, those people, those circumstances, those experiences into your life that helps you grow and evolve to who you actually want to be. But first you need to know, who do I want to be? Does this make sense? So you have to know and understand who you want to be before you can become that. And the whole goal is for you to become you. And some of this process is unlearning who you've become that is not true, right? Those false beliefs that we've developed, those false behavior patterns that we've developed. For everyone joining, hello. So again, another definition of authentic is representing one's true nature or belief. Now, before I ask you the first question of this worksheet, I want to tell you why I'm here, because I want to ask you, why do you desire to cultivate a deeper level of authenticity. It's always important to start with why. So I want to start with my why, because I believe that it's my why that you might relate with, that might help you really uncover, why do I want this for myself? Because I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to guess that a lot of you are here because you see something in me that you want in and of yourself, for yourself. And that's wonderful. And I know that you're going to go and you're going to start your authentic and thriving journey, or you're going to deepen it, or you're going to take it to the next level. And people are going to be attracted to you and your authentic message, right? I love to see all the hearts. So there's going to be something in you that other people will see. You guys, this planet needs us to rise up. This planet needs us to become our authentic selves, because it is through becoming our authentic selves that we do our purpose. It's not like we have to find our purpose. Our purpose finds us by us becoming all of us. When you become all of you, your purpose finds you, your people find you, you do the work that you were called to do, you make the impact on this planet that you are here to do. So a lot of us are doing it backwards, and I was there for years. I just wanted to find my purpose. Some of you might have been in my chiropractic practice before. I had this giant, the letters were this tall, right? And I had my purpose, my mission statement up on my wall, because my coach told me, hey, that's your purpose, and you need to put your mission statement up on the wall. And my mission statement was the same as hundreds of other chiropractors. My mission is to help as many people in my lifetime as I can, especially children, because my coach was a coach for chiropractors who wanted a pediatric practice. So what did I do? I followed his advice, and I put his mission statement on my wall. And 5 years later, I couldn't figure out, why was I feeling like a fraud? Because I developed my practice based on someone else telling me how to do it. I didn't find my authentic way. I didn't know my authentic voice. I didn't know that although it was a stepping stone to doing this work here, and I'm very grateful for my past, I knew I had to shed my past. Just like snakes shed their skin, I had to shed my skin, and I had to step into a new life. And I had to let go of that practice. I had to take the mission statement down. I had to scale down in my practice. I went from $250,000 to at least a third of a pay cut, to downsize and to say, I need to take a step back, and I need to figure out, what do I want? And so when I scaled back and I downsized, it created space for me to do what I wanted to do, or to learn who I was outside of chiropractic. So the reason I'm here, long-winded answer, the reason I'm here is because I know what it feels like not to feel authentic. I know what it feels like not to thrive. I know what it feels like to be in survival mode. I know what it feels like to be a fraud. And my friend, I never want to go back to that. It was the most painful year of my life when all of this kind of came to a head, and when all of this was really laying heavy on me. It lasted a very long time, almost an entire year, 11 months, where I felt very heavily like a fraud, very heavily like I wanted to run away, very heavily like I couldn't figure out what life I had built. I didn't know what it meant to be authentic. And I stayed in that place for 11 months. It was the most painful place I was. And I didn't know what the way out was. I didn't know how to get out of that place. And I'm going to share with you that we don't need to know what the how is. We just need to take that first step. And so, it was a very painful place. And because it was so painful, I don't want you to go through that. I don't want you to be stuck in the pain. And some of you might already have been stuck in the pain. Some of you might be there right now. And let's just honor that. Let's just honor that and say, we're all here at a different place. And there's only up to go from here. There's only up to go from here. And so I'm hoping that the struggles that I've overcome, and the lessons that I've learned, and the place where I was to the place that I am now, to pulling into my driveway and realizing not a lot has changed, but everything has changed. And I really hope that makes sense, that could give you hope. You guys, I wanted to divorce my husband. I wanted to quit my job. I wanted to literally buy a one-way ticket because I thought my external environment was not what I wanted, but it was actually my internal environment. I had it all backwards. I changed my internal environment and my external environment changed. And you can do the same. Hi, Camille. Great to see you. Megan, Brandy, Wendy, you guys are so awesome for showing up today. Thank you. All right. So why do you desire to cultivate a deeper level of authenticity? Now I'm going to give you some prompts, and the answer, right? It's your answer. And a lot of us might have similar answers, but we also have very different places that we are, but we're all in this human experience together. Misty, great to see you. So I needed and wanted and desired a deeper level of authenticity because I felt like a fraud, because I know that I wasn't utilizing the gifts and the talents that I knew that were in here somewhere. I didn't know what they exactly look like, and you don't need to either, but I just knew. I talked to myself and I just knew, hey, you're not doing the work that you're meant for. You are made for more. This is what I love so much about Rachel Hollis. I don't totally love her books, but I love the movement she created. I love the movement she created about inspiring women who are made for more. I feel like her book is very motivational in just do the work and just stop apologizing. But what you'll hear from my work is that we go deeper. We figure out, why aren't you doing the work? Why are you continuing these programs? An outside force is only temporary, like the motivation from a self-help book. We want to dive deeper and do the real work so that our results are longer lasting. So I love the movement she made about #made for more, because we are made for more, especially when we're not in love with our life. We're supposed to be in love with our life, guys. And not a lot has to change. But it's when you love your life, everything starts to change. It doesn't happen the other way. It doesn't happen when this happens, then I'll love my life. It's I love my life right now, and now things will happen. Just if you're a Christian, you've heard this before. Why would God give you more if you don't already love what you have, right? Why would God give you more if you're not happy with what you already have? Be happy and fulfilled with where you are right now. Then that is your authentic path. And then you will start attracting more. Then you will start attracting your dreams. And I know that it sounds really almost too good to be true to say it that way, but it happens that way. Okay. So, let me just ask you on this question. Is there something you want to achieve? Is that why you want a deeper level of authenticity? Is the path of authenticity going to help you make an achievement? Is it going to help you improve your relationships? Is it going to help you speak your mind? Is it going to help you put yourself out there? Why? What's the big reason why you want to cultivate a deeper level of authenticity? And when I say deeper level, you're already in your own way authentic. You're already being authentic, but there's a deeper level, a better level, right? A more authentic level that is more in alignment with your soul's desires. So my next question, what are your intentions for these next 5 days? See, so many times I see people start a program and then they don't finish it. Right? There are 7 people. There have been up to 9 people showing up live today. I just want to congratulate you. And I want to encourage you, just like you're showing up today, keep showing up. Show up the next 4 days. Because that is how, everything I'm going to share today is cumulative. And it's really going to build on itself. And on day 5, I hope to totally knock your socks off if I haven't already. And so what is your intention for being here? And that question is different than why do you want to cultivate a deeper level of authenticity? Is your intention to like maybe pause everything around you and really go in, like dive deep and do a deeper level of introspection? Is your intention for being here to like get really clear? Is your intention to like show yourself that you can finish what you started? Why are you here? Like how maybe some of you can comment. Why are you here? What's your intention, right? And your intention is like your purpose for being here, your purpose for showing up. And so if your intention is just to like sit, to actually just pause everything around you, then can you do that for yourself? Can you close down your browsers? Can you close down all the other chats? Can you like stop telling yourself like, hey, I need to do this and I need to do that? And can you just be present with yourself and listen? So what is it that like, that like almost like a commitment that you're going to make to yourself? Every time I do yoga, right, the teacher says, take a deep breath and set your intention for the day. And I set my intention for my yoga practice on whatever I need the most. Like if I walk into that yoga class and I'm stressed and I don't have a very high level of peace at the moment, right? I set my intention on, I need to find more peace. My intention for showing up on the mat today is to find more inner peace, because I know that inner peace is there, right? My intention sometimes for showing up is to find my strength, because we all have strength inside of us. And sometimes because of what's happened in our past or what we're going through, and maybe a conversation we've had with a loved one, we might not feel that strength, but it's there. And so sometimes my intention varies from day to day when I do a yoga class. So what's your intention? Like, what do you need most? What do you need most for being here and showing up? And now I want to ask you to dive in a little deeper. And we're going to really talk about some struggles that you have and how that relates to your current level of authenticity. So I can go back to where I was 4 years ago. And the struggle that I was having was that I wanted to run away from my life. So it's in direct correlation to my level of authenticity. I was a 1. You want to run away from a 1, right? That doesn't sound very inspiring. So I'm going to just pause for a second because I got some messages coming in. You guys are awesome. Here's what you're saying. Sheena, we're supposed to be in love with our life. Yes. Wendy loves that. Sheena, your intention is to find courage. Oh my gosh. What could be possible if we all had a deeper level of courage? Your intention is to show up and trust. Wendy, you're here. That's awesome. You're showing up and you trust the process. 2020, my word for the year is trust. And what must we get rid of if we want to trust? If our intention is to trust, we need to let go of the fear. We need to let go of the doubt and the worry and the insecurity. And how many of us live with that? I think we're programmed with that. I know I am. I have been. And it's like a daily intention I have to set for myself, that trust needs to be bigger than fear. Trust needs to be bigger than anxiety. I work with a lot of people that have anxiety. We have anxiety because of our past programming. And really, when you look around, you're like, wow, I've been taken care of all of these times. Everything has turned out okay. That's in and of itself is a big enough reason to trust. Camille, your intention is to grow in your relationships and to be more present for your friends and family. Gosh, that's fulfilling in and of itself, just thinking about that. Get rid of false beliefs. Hey, Robin, so glad you're here. We are diving into, we're finishing up with our intentions for the day, for the intentions for these 5 days. And let's talk about our current struggles and how they relate to your authenticity. So when you think about like how you're showing up, are you showing up in your authentic self? Are you being that real person? Or are you being the person that you've been conditioned to be? And when I talk about conditioned, I mean like, are you doing all the things you've been told you should do all of these years, year after year after year? I built my practice based on what everyone in the chiropractic profession told me I should. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I see this person over here being really successful doing that, so I'm going to model it. Well, that wasn't the way that I was authentically meant to run my practice in a fulfilled way. Did it help my bank account? Yes. Did it sacrifice every other layer of my being? Yes. So where's the give and take? Do you want more money and be miserable? Or would you rather, I took a huge pay cut to design my life and business more around my authentic self. And people thought I was crazy. The people closest to me were like, what are you doing? Right? Everyone was scared for me in making those giant leaps but I trusted. I knew without a shadow of a doubt who my authentic self was, and I knew I wasn't being it. So I knew things had to change. What needs to change in your life, right? What are the current struggles what are your current struggles? And your homework tonight is, how is that related to your authenticity? Almost always I can look back at the times that I've struggled the most in my life, and it was because I wasn't being true to myself. When I've struggled in my relationships, is because I wasn't speaking my mind. I let people walk all over me. What else? Who can relate to that, right? I talk to so many women that, and men too, to be honest, but there's way more women in this group than there are men. Men are invited, but sometimes they just have an easier way of being authentic. It just comes natural. To us, we have to unlearn all of the things that we've been taught, hey, a real woman acts like this. A real woman does this. Don't speak up your mind. It's rude. Don't tell people how you actually feel because you don't want to hurt their feelings. So it's okay to preserve everyone else's feelings while you sit there and have your feelings hurt day after day after day. It's okay to take care of everyone else but yourself. Sounds a little backwards to me, but that's what I did for 31 years. I spent my life taking care of everyone else, and no wonder I was miserable. I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't nurturing myself. I wasn't listening. Sometimes we just have to listen. If we just listen instead of suppress what our body and our mind and our soul is actually telling us, that's the path to being more authentic, is just listening, right? So where are you struggling? Does anyone want to share where they're struggling? And maybe you get some coaching out of this if you feel vulnerable enough to share. This is a safe place, right? This is just a group of 430 women, and it's safe. Kim, you say your intention is to push past doubts and keep your focus on growing your practice. Yes. Sometimes instead of focusing on who we want to be, it's really easy to focus on who we are not being, and we get depressed and we get run down of I'm not there yet. And that becomes our focus. And so sometimes just stepping into a deeper level of authenticity is just focusing on who we do want to be, because you're always going to get what you think about, right? You attract what your thoughts attract more of that into your life. And so if you're thinking I'm not there yet, you're going to not be there even longer. But if you start thinking wow, I'm doing it, I'm here, and I'm honoring myself for showing up, and I'm doing the work, and I'm following my joy, right? We can attract more fulfillment into our life just by making the choice to show up even when the results aren't there to show for all of our hard work yet. Does anyone want to share what they're struggling with? And maybe we'll get some coaching out of this. So, are you guys ready to learn the 3? If I had to, well, I did, right? I chose to. I didn't have to. I chose to. Remember to listen to our words that we use. Looking back at the last 4 years, when I went from the complete opposite of authentic and thriving, and I went to building my authentic and thriving life, and I will tell you, I did a Facebook Live. I don't always feel authentic and thriving. I don't always feel that way, but I've learned a lot. And so if I had to take the last 4 years, and I wanted to make this simple for you guys, and we're gonna do the A we're gonna talk about tomorrow, the B we're gonna talk about on Wednesday, and the C we're gonna talk about on Thursday. So each of these 3 concepts are going to be a theme for the day. And I want to leave you with what those topics will be. And I want to give you some more journaling exercises to help you uncover, help you kind of prime the pump so that when we do talk about each of those 3 topics, it will be easier for you to go, oh yeah, that's what she means. Or, oh my gosh, I totally get how I can apply this into my life. So we have Sheena sharing. Thank you, Sheena. One of our struggles relating to authenticity, Sheena's struggle, and I think a lot of people here can relate. Her struggle is letting go of people pleasing. Whew, I can totally relate to that. And I've been there. And if I can think of the biggest problem I had that made me inauthentic was putting everyone else's needs first, was pleasing people. And I want to give you a really amazing example that some of you might be able to relate with. Because I was such a people pleaser, I was conditioned to become a people pleaser. And I'm grateful for that. Okay, I have no regrets. And I'm still shedding, healing happens in layers. I've had to heal from this. I'm still shedding, and I still see the act of wanting to be a people pleaser creep up. But my level of authenticity is so much better, so much greater now, that it's it suppresses my need to people please, because I'm wait a second, I need to be authentic in this moment. I need to be true to me, because I know the path of what happens when you're not. So I'll share real fast for when it comes to people pleasing. Guys, I had a really busy chiropractic practice. And I want to tell you something, because if I can overcome people pleasing, you can overcome people pleasing, because it was so at my core. I had all these patients every single day. Okay, I probably adjusted, when I was at my busiest, I was probably adjusting 125 patients per week. And every one of those patients, I treated them based on what I thought they needed. I gave them a part of me that I felt like they needed. But I wasn't being myself, and I wasn't being genuine. I was honestly faking it. I showed up every day with a smile on my face, and I gave these people a piece of me, but I wasn't filling the tank. And I would treat Susie different than I would Joey, and I would treat Alan different than I would Bob. Every person, I had this mask that I would wear. Oh, Bob needs me to wear this mask. Oh, Susie needs me to wear this mask. I'm hoping that was really creating a visual for you, that every single person, 125 different transactions through the week, got a different mask. So how many masks are you wearing? Does your husband get one mask? Your mom gets a mask? Your coworkers get a mask, right? We're wearing all these masks based on what we think people need, right? So that we don't rock the boat, so that we don't upset anyone, so that we don't create confrontation, so that people don't actually know what you believe and what you feel and what you want. Because it's not okay, right? It's not okay. We think it's not okay to tell people what we want and to stand up for what we need. So I was wearing all of these masks. Yeah, everybody can relate to people pleasing. But I wasn't wearing Jenna. I wasn't wearing the Jenna mask. And as I started to become, like, I feel like I'm getting emotional around this. As I began to find the Jenna mask, and not even the Jenna mask, but the Jenna skin, the Jenna, like the Jenna, right? You have a you, and your mask are masking it. Your mask are suppressing you, and it's not allowing you to show up in your authentic self. And so I was wearing all these masks, and I was like, this is exhausting. No wonder I wanted to run away. I was exhausted, and I wasn't feeling the tank, and I was on this hamster wheel, and I'd been doing it for 5 years, and my practice just kept growing and growing and growing. And I started dreading new patients coming in because I was like, I can't afford, like, I have no energy to put on another mask. I can't learn another mask. I don't have the energy. And so to build your business and my chiropractic practice, like, when you want to grow your business, you have to show up on your A game. And I did really well at the beginning showing up at my A game. And then I got really good at faking it and pretending. And then that got really hard, really hard. And I was 3 days away from going on antidepressant medications just to help myself cope. So maybe it could help me. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I made a decision one day and said, I'm turning this around. And I took a pay cut. I lost a lot of patients. You guys, the patients that were hardest for me to put that mask on, and the patients that like I had to fake it the most with, and the people that had the highest needs of me, they started disappearing. And at first, that was really scary. Like, oh no, like, they're like, this is what happens. You start losing people in your life when you start being more like you. And when you're going through it, it feels like a bad thing. But I look back and I'm like, that was an amazing thing. Like, what a gift that the universe helped those people leave, right? It feels really bad and it feels really scary, especially when they're paying you and you've built your reputation around treating these people well and you've treated them for years. And suddenly, as you start to make shifts in your own life to be more of who you are, the people that no longer align with that vision of the old you, they start leaving and they start changing. And things around you feel a little rocky. And when you're going through it, it's hard. And it's like, oh no, maybe I need to go back to who I was. But the gift comes in realizing that, like, that created space for me to get rid of all those masks. And what's amazing is there's a very, like, I don't say I'm 100% mask free, but it's way, way, way better. I'd say like 92%. And that was just a number on the top of my head. I felt like sharing 92%. I am maskless. And there's a lot of people that stuck around. And there's a lot of new people that have come in, right? And when someone leaves that no longer fits that, of you faking it, it creates space for something more beautiful. And so what I've realized is all those people are gone, but all of you guys are here. And if I would have stayed to take care of all those people, none of you would be hearing this message right now. And you guys need to hear this message, because I know you becoming your authentic self and hearing this message is going to catapult your dreams forward, which goes along with, like, my highest calling, my highest goal, my greatest value in life is making an impact. And I thought, right, I became a chiropractor so that I could impact people's health. So every single adjustment, I would impact that person's health for that day. And what I'm realizing, what I love so much about this group and you guys showing up, is that it's increasing the ripple effect. I get to show up and impact you. I've stepped into my authenticity as much as I possibly can. I know that there's deeper levels, but I've stepped up because I want you to step up, because I know when you step up into your full authenticity, you activate your authenticity, you're going to have a greater impact. And that's going to make me feel more fulfilled. I love all the comments. You guys are so awesome, so great. So let's dive in. I know this has been going for a while and I don't want to take up too much of your time. I love all your comments. I love that you show up. I love that you're participating. Remember, the way you participate today, like what you put into this, you're going to get out of. So let me just read these. I was gonna skip them, but I'm gonna read them. People pleasing. I didn't realize I was a people pleaser. When I realized it, I felt resentful. Yes, we will feel resentful until we feel grateful. Resentment can be transcended through gratitude. So I look back and I was resentful over my practice. I was resentful for all those people that I was giving, and I wasn't getting anything in return, right? Giving. I was resentful for the chiropractic profession, for talking me into, for convincing me that I had to run my practice this way. I had a great deal of resentment because I wanted to be a chiropractor for 20 years. And then I became a chiropractor and wasn't happy. So I resented the chiropractic profession, but then I did the inner work and I'm now grateful. Like I literally, when people are like, what are you grateful for? Every single day, the first thing that comes to my mind is I'm grateful for my past. I would not be right where I'm at if I wasn't grateful for my past. So the inner work that you do changes resentment into gratitude. And I want that for all of you because it's only through having gratitude in our heart that we start to attract all of the things that we want more of, right? You can't build a life you love when you're filled with only thinking about all the things that you're resentful for. So lots of people have walls. You've been too kind to a fault. Universe doing what you can't. Yes, you guys are awesome. So let's dive into the ABCs of authenticity activated. This is what you're here for. And I'm going to cover them briefly today, and then I'm going to leave you with a couple journaling prompts that you can do over the next 24 hours. So I could make a list of all the things that start with A that have to do with authenticity. Authenticity being one of them, right? Alignment, taking action, aligned action, a lot of things. But I would say the A that I want you to focus on the most, that will have the greater good, that have the greater impact, is awareness. And I'm going to tell you why, because awareness doesn't seem to be like a productive word, but it really is. Like it's the foundation. It's what you want to build your next steps on. It's really where, and I think that the questions I've already asked you so far are increasing your awareness. The things that I've been sharing are increasing your awareness of like, holy crap, let me take a look inside. Let me look within. Being aware of how you operate, being aware and asking yourself, is this me or is this conditioned? We're conditioned from our mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers, society, social media, peers, right? We're even conditioned in church to be a certain way, to act a certain way. And I'm not saying that it's right or it's wrong, but being aware of who you have become, to realize, where did that come from? And is it something that you are aligning with? Is it something you want to say goodbye to? Like, think about, so many people know about Marie Kondo, right? What does she do when she wants you to clean your closet? She has you take all of the things that you own, like all of your clothes, and you put them on the bed. Why does she do that? Why is that a successful method? It's because when you see all of it together in that big pile, you're suddenly aware of how big your shopping problem is, or how many things you actually have that you don't need. By having it all in one place, your awareness is on reality, right? Because when it's stuffed in the closet or in drawers or like tucked away or all hanging on hangers, like, your awareness for how great of an issue you're dealing with is not front and center. We want to be aware of who we have become. and ask ourselves, is that the authentic version of who we are? So just like Marie Kondo says, if this no longer brings you joy, then you get rid of it. If who you have become no longer brings you joy, then we say, thank you. You served your time. I'm grateful for you, but I'm moving on and I'm putting you in this pile. So kind of taking that inventory of all of the things that you need to be aware of. So we're going to talk deeper. We're going to go into a whole lecture on awareness. That'll be tomorrow. So on Wednesday, we're going to talk about the B of authenticity activated. And the B is your belief system. It has a lot to do with your awareness too, but your belief system has also been conditioned. Mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers, society, right? We develop a belief system like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not good enough. Like, what is our belief system telling ourselves about ourselves and who we can become and who we're capable of? There could be a lot of B's under authenticity activated, but I think the belief system, and I did a whole video on this last week, and I just scratched the surface on your belief system and what that says about your authentic self. And for the C, if you guys have been in my circle, you've seen me talk about clarity and you've seen me talk about confidence. And while I think that those are very important, you don't always have clarity and you don't always have confidence. But there is one thing that you do always have, that it's always within you. You just need to activate it. Does anyone want to guess what that might be? Oh, wait a second. There's something inside of you that if I have it, you have it. And I told you a little story about how, last week, everything that I shared last week was very intentional. I was priming the pump for you. I was telling you guys stories. I was letting you get to know who I was. And everything I shared had a little bit to do with these next 5 days. Last week was all about me, kind of. This week's all about you, activating your authenticity. Last week, I shared how I activated my authenticity over the last 4 years. And I gave you a lot of stories and lots of examples. And I gave you some really cool tools. And this week's all about you. It's the process of activating your authenticity. Took me 4 years, not really, but took me 4 years to really activate my authenticity. And I'm hoping that I can combine what I've learned in those 4 years into 5 days. Talk about saving you time and money and a heartache. So intuition is good, but it doesn't start with C. And intuition is something we're going to work on. And it is something that I would definitely work on with my clients, and what we're going to be focusing on in Authenticate, which is a program that starts February 1st. So I'm going to teach you tools to deepen your intuition. But yes, intuition is a big one. For the ABCs of authenticity activated, if you want to activate, you really want to activate, like today activate. There's nothing greater to get this party activated, right? Activated, set in motion. What you need is courage. That is the C of the ABCs of authenticity activated, is courage. And I want to tell you how courage, and I'll tell you more on courage, will be saved for Thursday. And you definitely don't want to miss Thursday, because what you need to activate authenticity is courage. And I have so many examples of how in my own life, courage has been the thing that has brought me more levels of authenticity. It's by mustering up the courage within, because I listen to my intuition, right? You listen to your intuition. It gives you the thing, like, I need to do this, right? How many moms are out there and you have this amazing intuition about your children? Amazing. Like, you guys are so connected. Like, you know when something's wrong without having any signs. You just have this deep knowing that something's wrong with your kids. So you do the courageous act and you go call them, or you run across town to go find them, or whatever it is. Like, you have this courage within you to just take those steps. Sheena, you guessed it before I said it. We need courage, right? If you want to be yourself, it's going to take courage. My hair took me courage. Some of you guys have been following my hair journey and how I was so scared. I wanted this hair for 3 years, probably even longer, but for 3 active years. This is all I thought about. And I was so scared because I listened to what everyone told me I should do or I shouldn't do. It took me, and I am more my authentic, like, I look in the mirror and I love myself. And I thought the 2 things that I thought when I changed my hair was, oh my gosh, I finally feel like me. And the second thought was, why didn't I start this sooner? Because I was lacking the courage I needed. And when I mustered up the courage and I took that step, I didn't regret it. I knew this was in alignment with my higher self. And it was just me setting an example for you guys. That's not the only reason I did it, but I love my hair. A lot of other examples about courage and how mustering up the courage, because it's in you. It's a seed planted in you. And maybe it's a very small seed that's not activated and it doesn't know how to be activated and it doesn't need to know how to be activated. But I just want you to know that if I have the courage within you, you have the courage within you. And I want to, on Thursday, I'm going to give you some tools to activate that courage. By activating your courage, you activate your authenticity and you grow into more of an authentic and thriving human being, entrepreneur, mother, partner, whatever it is that you want to be and the role that you have to play in this lifetime, right? You get to be more of you by being aware of who you're being and who you're not being and what you can do to be more of that. B, by understanding your belief system and rewiring your belief system to be in alignment with who you want to be. Listen to your dreams, right? When I look at my computer, I want to point the other way. It's like a mirror. And then C, having the courage. So are there any questions? Thank you, Camille, for telling me that I shine with courage. And I want you to know I haven't always been this way. And I can say that with a huge smile on my face because I look back and I didn't have courage 4 years ago. I didn't know how to put myself out there. I didn't have courage to tell people what I wanted. It's amazing. I have, like, my husband and I, we have such a better relationship because I had the courage within to very gracefully speak my mind. You know, like, who needs just courage just conversing with your husband of like, hey, that doesn't work for me anymore. You know, like having the courage to tell your friends the truth, or, you know, having the courage to be in front of people that need to hear your message. Like, where do you need courage? And we'll talk about that more on Thursday. I don't want to give away all the good stuff, but all right. So before I leave you today, I want to read something, because this is no joke. I was, before I showed up today, I was going live. Before I showed up for this live, I was doing some prep work, and the song came on the radio. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so perfect. I need to share it with you guys. And I'll post the lyrics here in the group. But I was like, you guys, I can't make this up. Like, this song came on the radio on Pandora 20 minutes before I went live. And I want to just read some of the lyrics. I won't sing them for you. Not because I don't have the courage to sing, but because I don't have the voice to sing. The author, the artist, his name is James T.W. and his song is called Different. And here are the lyrics. Got a winning smile, but you're losing faith. Trying to belong, leaves you out of place. 2 steps forward and you're at the start. Who knew growing up would be this hard? So hard. The color of your hair changes every week. You know you got a voice, but you're scared to speak. Life just seems like a riddle. You're torn down in the middle. You don't have to play a part, just be who you are. I love that you're different in a cool way. You always stand out, but don't be afraid. Let the whole world see that you're still free. I love that you're different, so please don't change. Who you are is a tough thing to find. All you're looking for today takes a lifetime. You don't need all the answers. The only thing that matters is to just let your voice speak from your heart. Just be who you are. I love that you're different in a cool way. You always stand out, but don't be afraid. Let the whole world see that you are still free. I love that you're different, so please don't change. Please don't change. Where you go, others will follow. Follow, follow. Where you go, where you are is where I want to be. Love that you're different in a cool way. You always stand out, but don't be afraid. Let the whole world see that you are still free. I love that you're different. Please don't change. And the chorus repeats itself. Is that not beautiful or what? I think that should be the theme song for Authentic and Thriving. Okay, so I thought that I prepared myself to have some journaling prompts because I wrote journaling prompts and I thought that I had that prepared. And I did not write anything down. So rather than winging it, I'm going to leave you right here, right now. And I will go and reflect back through what's came up today, what I've already said. And I will post some journaling prompts for you to think about in the group. So just stick around and make sure to comment on those so other people see. If this was helpful and you can think of a friend in need that needed to hear this message, please reach out to them and send them the link to join. I don't like to be just added to groups, and I'd much rather send the link to people and say, hey, this is an invitation for you to join. But I don't want people to be here if they don't want to be here. So send that link. Don't just invite them. And maybe that will stimulate a conversation. I also think it'd be really amazing. I want to challenge all of you. I didn't call Authenticity Activated a challenge, but I want to challenge you. I wanted this to be a training, but I want to challenge you also. I think the word challenge is slightly overused, and excuse me. I want to challenge you to maybe partner up with someone, grab an accountability partner, invite someone that needs to hear this, invite someone who's close to you and talk about these things. Dive in deeper. Ask a close friend, how have I been, how do you see that I'm already being authentic? How do you see that I could be more authentic? Talk to people, connect with them. Find yourself, if you don't already have your accountability partner here. I'm going to just share, I've had an accountability group for 4 years now. We've gone through 4 years of material. We talk every single Friday, and we have no plans of not being accountability partners. My life and business has changed because I have these people in my life that understand everything I'm going through. Because you will always be going through stuff, especially if you're trying to grow and expand and increase your awareness and change your beliefs and get the courage, right? All those 3 things, those are the 3 elements to activating your authentic and thriving life. And it's hard to do it your own. It's hard to do it yourself. Yes, this group is important, and yes, you have me, but I can't help all of you. And you can get so much further by having that person to just share this material with and dive in deeper. We went pretty deep today, and I'm going to go deeper tomorrow and deeper on tomorrow's only on, oh wow, it already feels like I've covered 3 days of material. I'm still on day 1. So show up each day. I'm going live at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. The replays are going to stay up until next Tuesday. So all of this material will poof, it'll disappear. These 5-day trainings will poof disappear on Tuesday. Friday, I'll be sharing more about my 9-month spiritual immersion, where we like literally activate your authenticity. That program kicks off on February 1st. If some of you are already interested, I've already been filling up the spots, and I haven't even been honestly advertising it very much. So I will talk to you more about what that looks like on Friday, but some of you might already know, like, oh my gosh, I have to work with you and I have to keep this up. Like, I have to keep doing this work. So message me and I'll tell you how to do that if you want to like grab one of those spots before I tell you more about the program on Friday. 1 p.m., the replays will stay up and everything disappears next Tuesday. So dive in, dig deep, do your homework. Tonight, I will post the worksheet for tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to talk about awareness. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, you guys have been commenting. What a great song. You guys like that song. So I'll post the lyrics to that in the group as well. If you guys come up with any other questions, post them in the group. I love your private messages. And I think private messages are really great and reserved for like personal things that you don't feel comfortable sharing with the group. But any ahas or any like big wins or anything, like post them in the group, because I want you to show the group what you're doing. Because when you come up with an aha and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with Jenna, share this in the group, because what you're going through will only help to catapult everyone else's journey. There's a lot of really great energy together. Even though we're not in the same room, even though we're not together, there's really great energy that we're all doing this work at the same time. And so that's contagious. So share in the group, let people know what you're going through, what you're growing through. And I will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock to share more about the process of deepening your awareness to activate your authentic and thriving journey. I will see you soon. I'm so excited you guys are all here. Keep up the great work.